Last month in November, I did like an energy update of where we were at in November, and we are right now at the 2nd of December. So let's do another energy update to see where we are at and where we might be going. And last month I said like we are not quite there yet. So are we there yet right now? What I could say from my own personal experience as well, of what I'm sensing, what I'm picking up, the things that I'm working through as well, is what I see is that the old version of ourself, of our personal identity, of what we used to do in the world, the things that we used to do to sustain ourselves, that gave us stability, security and all of that, that is not really longer in a line with our true soul's calling, that a lot of that is basically being somewhat destructed or fragmented in one way or another. So right now, a lot of us, we can really feel a little bit uprooted or unstable or drained, fatigued, or we're dealing with some sort of stress or emotional mood swings or instabilities and all of that. But rest assured that this is kind of like part of the process of the transformational journey we are in. So what we are in right now is of course like letting go of the past, of everything that we used to do. Like the saying goes, never go back to your old towns, your old jobs or your old girlfriends, your old flames, because it is in the past for a reason, and maybe we need to leave that as it was. Is it still giving us energy, or will it drain our energy? That is of course the bigger question. But what we like to do is we like to go back to that what was familiar of when we were looking back to our past and what it was giving to us, and we like to go back to that. But when we try, we figure out, we continue to hit the wall with our face, of course, and then we realize, wait a minute, this is not longer it for me. So what is it exactly? That is of course the number one question that we will be facing right now. That is of course leading us into 2025. So if I may look back to 2024, for me it was really like coming back home within myself, is to somewhat become more like grounded, integrated within myself. And to be honest, this basically was like the whole entire year, moving out of another country, moving back to my own country here in the Netherlands. I was moving out of England, where I was living the last 10 years or so, also moving out of a long-term relationship, so letting that go, which was of course also part of my life existence and all of that. So letting go of a lot of it and then coming back to my own country, finding jobs and roles and new kind of stability, finding apartment, which is of course like in most modern Western cultures is of course very, very difficult. But then you must go back to old jobs, old industries where you are actually already know, like, wait a minute, I left that for a reason. But then you try to go back in order to find somewhat insecurity or stability, and then also when that is kind of like there, then of course we can hit another wall, realizing, okay, so but this false self of safety, security is only causing more insecurity and instability within myself. So what is it exactly that I could rebuild within myself from the ground up? And I think that is like the path we are in right now. We are venturing out into an unknown territory of the subconscious mind, of doing the inner work, the shadow work, facing all these insecurities that lives within us, facing that straight on, face on, like a spiritual warrior, facing our shadow aspects, our fears and all of that. And then of course we must realize, like, wait a minute, is this still truth for me? Do I really want to hold on to this, or do I choose to let go of it? And once we choose to let go, we can start to integrate more of our true authentic self, our light. So also I just did another rune reading for myself, and I am somewhat still kind of like in the energy I have been in for the last couple of months, which is a little bit more the hermit mode, living more in solitude, of working out these things that existed within myself that does not really longer serve me, and then also within a new process of new integration. So the first rune that I got was Hagalas, which stands for hill, and hill can really kind of like completely destroy and destruct, let's say, fertile farmlands. And then this could also symbolize that an old part of ourself will be completely destructed and destroyed. So within the upcoming months it can rebuild itself to become like new fertile ground. Then once again I had the reversed Olgish, which of course has to do with protection, but a reversed one is once again when we feel a little bit unstable, insecure, we are going into a new phase, we're not quite sure where we are heading into, and then that can cause a little bit of, you know, feeling vulnerable within ourselves. And then sometimes what is required is that we hold on maybe a little bit of a mask to the outside world of how we actually want to be perceived, because we don't really want to show yet too much of this vulnerability that exists right now within us as we are navigating this path. Then I also had the sign of Sowalu, which means the sun, the light, which means is that we must stay connected to our divine inspiration, our spiritual practice. That will help us to ground ourselves a little bit. It will help to let go of the past and integrate the new. So that is, of course, is something that we must hold on to as well. Staying connected to our self-care, our health and wellness, spirituality, self-improvement. Right now, for the last 2 months, I've been really scaling up my CrossFit workouts for at least 5 times a week. So I could, of course, stabilize myself a little bit, because I might also be living a lot in my head, and I need to ground all this energy within myself. So this is currently also where I'm at, and working out can help us to get more in touch with the body. The last symbol was Ewas, which means is riding on the horse, is the relationship that we have with our companion, and then it can also symbolize a true twin flame kind of relationship, as long as we stay connected to our calling. Okay, so that is really what we can move into that as well. But it can also mean, of course, the relationship we build with ourselves, with our spiritual practice, our creativity, and eventually how we are going to show up in the world and months ahead. So this is kind of really where we are at right now and where we are going. Can you relate to any of this? Please let me know. Simply drop a thought, or simply drop your thoughts below. And then, yeah, I look forward to learn more about your journey. All right, see you on my next videos. Take care for now.